is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable. I don't have a joke. So today we're talking about monsters, Stu Horvath.
It's what I always want to talk about, monsters. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, I know. It's like the most exciting book. Like no matter what, like if you put out a monster book in RPGs, someone's gonna buy it.
Yeah, for the pictures alone.
Seriously.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about monsters. In part because this morning I was like, oh, I need to prep. I need to pre-load, the January posts. They're all written and photographed, but now I need to put them on the website and put them, schedule them so that they come out 8:30 every morning on the website.
Yeah, especially with the holidays coming up.
Yeah, I don't want to do that later in the month.
Yeah, speaking of which, we've got a couple episodes left for the year 2025. I figured we'd let you know in the beginning of the episode while you're all still keenly paying attention. So we're going to take a little Christmas break. We've been taking one every year recently, and it's been feeling pretty good for us. Kind of helps us recharge our batteries a little bit to get back into doing the show, especially after the home stretch into the 9th year. So we are dropping our last episode for 2025 on December 15th, and we'll be back with new episodes January 12th.
Yep. So this one, and then one more, and then see you till next year.
I mean, the kids get a Christmas vacation. Why shouldn't the adults?
I mean, I work all year. The joke used to be December was the freelancer's vacation. You do everything in your power to get all of your accounts closed by at least 2 weeks out from the end of the year, so that you get the entire Christmas break. And that's what I kind of aim for. I kind of disappear after the 15th. For the most part, and try and take off for several weeks to just not exist.
Yeah, not a court of the world could convict us.
I usually do 2 months worth of posts in a big batch at the end of that month, and just get them all on the website, post, prep nice and scheduled. But because I take off at the end of December, I got to do it earlier. So I was doing that today, and I realized that, because I was reading the monster posts, and I'm sure you're thinking, oh, monster posts. He doesn't do monster posts. This year I am. Well, next year, because it's, we're in the liminal space.
Yeah, seriously.
The word usage doesn't turn over until mid-January, right? It's like when you're in school, you used to put the old date on your papers for like a good month.
Oh, yeah.
So... But yeah, every year since I think like 2021, basically right around the time I started writing all of the posts in one go, they've all had a theme. I don't think that anybody's noticed the theme, but each year has its own theme. The first year was sort of derived out of the writing of the book. So it was a lot of high profile, historically important things got highlighted that year. The next 2 years, I had a general science fiction theme, and then I was really working on Traveler a lot, just to sort of correct what I saw as an imbalance. There was so much fantasy stuff in the feed. I wanted to kind of look at the sci-fi end of the spectrum.
Right.
And then it was 2024, which was the 50th anniversary of D&D.
You only get to do that once.
Yeah. And I chose to celebrate it by doing 12 weeks of Rolaids products, which were D&D knockoffs. And I think I'm the only person who really truly appreciated that parallel. And then this year, I had 12 weeks of fantasy artists. This coming year in 2026, because I just finished a whole book on monsters, and I have a lot of books about monsters, we have 12 weeks of monster posts.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just monsters. Not just role-playing monster books. It's like I have all these Daniel Cohen books. There's a week tackling the Mysterious World Time Life series, the Black Books from the late 80s, although I highly associate them with the 90s. Got lots of ghost books, just monsters everywhere. And maybe 1 week of like occulty, creepy stuff, but mostly monsters. So I thought we could talk a little bit about monsters.
I love it because you know what I love?
Monsters.
Monsters.
There's some just interesting things about the way we talk about monsters and have talked about monsters over the course of the last century or so that I think is interesting. Like most of the monster books from the 70s and 80s include dinosaurs. I, as a kid who had dinosaur mania in the 80s, I very much do not think of dinosaurs as monsters. I think of dinosaurs as dinosaurs, you know?
Really?
Yeah. Do you think of them as monsters?
See, it's weird because part of me does and part of me doesn't.
Huh.
You know, part of me like wants to believe in them as monsters, but also gets the gets the impetus that they're kind of very much their own thing. You know?
Yeah, so like the test for me is that I don't particularly like using dinosaurs in Dungeons and Dragons encounters.
Right.
I like to throw a T-Rex in every once in a while because that's cool. But for the most part, I feel like they don't scratch that itch. And when you do throw them in, they give you that Lost World vibe, right? And that's sort of
Yeah.
different from like the it's not a dragon. I think this because I really don't think like a Brontosaurus is a monster. A Brontosaurus is just my friend. And
Truer words, buddy. Truer words.
same for Stegosaurus and Ankylosaurus and all the vegetable eaters. You know, I just don't they aren't monstrous to me. They're
Yeah.
buddies. But most monster books before the 90s characterize dinosaurs as monsters. And maybe that's just sort of like the way that maybe monster writers were doing the same thing. It's like, oh, I got this contract to write a monster book, but what I really want to write about is dinosaurs, sort of the way I, wrote a book about
Yeah, for
role-playing
sure.
games, but really all I want to write about is monsters. So maybe there's something like that going on. What's another odd thing? Oh, cryptids. Another thing that I don't really consider monsters anymore.
Okay.
Cryptids don't really show up in the 70s books so much,
Yeah.
and certainly not in the 60s. They start to rise to prominence in the 70s and they become like a real thing in the 80s. The word cryptid didn't actually exist until the 80s, I think.
Really?
Yeah, let me confirm that.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I want to say it should have, but at the same time, like there was, yeah, back in the day, growing up, you think that the only thing that people really ever talked about was Bigfoot, like nationally, right?
Right.
Nationally, the idea of Bigfoot was Bigfoot, but then you have something like, if you were down in certain areas, like Mothman was your guy. Regional cryptids were just kind of like local legend or urban legends or lore for the area. I guess, yeah, maybe it does make sense that cryptids may not have been like a thing.
The term cryptid was coined by John E. Wall in a letter published in a 1983 issue of the International Society of Cryptozoology newsletter. So, like, the idea existed, and these creatures, these legends existed, but the term cryptid did not exist until 1983. And I think that the idea, the word coalesces the concept, right?
Yeah.
Like before then, it's like, oh, the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Jersey Devil, like, and then like you have these regional ones that are a little bit more, or, Bigfoot slash Yeti. And then you have these regional ones that are a little bit more strange, or like Mothman happened in the 60s, right? So
Yeah.
that's not that's recent history. So there's not much legend there to draw on. But yeah, I remember as a kid I was really interested in the Loch Ness Monster. I was never really interested in Bigfoot. And UFOs to a certain degree, I've waffled on. Sometimes
Right.
I'm interested, sometimes I'm not. I think the new agey aspects of UFOs sort of like put me off. But when it like leans more into like monstrous horror stuff, then I'm into UFOs. And that's changed. That sort of the general approach to UFOs has changed a lot, almost year by year since the 90s. But yeah, I as a kid, I accepted them in my monster books, but I always knew that they were different. And now looking back at it, 30 years later, 40 years later, I'm just like, oh yeah, cryptids, they're sort of like dinosaurs. I don't find them because, okay, like Loch Ness Monster, it's either a giant otter or or like most theories are like it's a surviving dinosaur, just like the idea, like a lot of the cryptid stuff is surviving dinosaurs and prehistoric mammals, and like those aren't monsters to me. I think that Bigfoot is the most boring idea. Like it's just not a monster. Like in the same way that gorillas are not monsters, they're just big primates. Like if Bigfoot is real, cool. But it's like but I also know that gorillas exist, so it's not exciting to me in the same way as like the Jersey Devil is.
Yeah, I mean, forgive me. It's been so many years of this show. I can't remember sometimes what we talked about. We haven't. But going back to thinking about the concept and conceptually about, say like the original Monster Manuals when they had like dinosaurs and stuff in there. And it always seemed kind of like, slapdash and kind of add on. You know what I mean? Like where
you could tell that Gygax is like, ugh, I don't want to put dinosaurs in here.
But like also I don't have enough monsters to put in here. So I got to do something.
Got to pad it out. Yeah.
Got to pad it out.
And I think that dinosaurs is the largest section of creatures in the original Monster Manual. If not, it's close.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you also have like a lot of art that you could just kind of steal back then and didn't really have to worry about because it's like, oh, there's just drawings of dinosaurs everywhere. And also, you have the concept that like visually, everyone knows what a dinosaur is. They taught you about it in school. Like, what's a bugbear? What's a flump? And other shit like that. Like, it makes also sense to me that you have things in there that people can like let themselves get into and actually know how to fight or like visualize themselves fighting. But like, they always just really just felt kind of add on to the whole thing, And then like cryptids made a lot more sense to me. Like it would make more sense to me in a Monster Manual-esque kind of sense because what you have is really weird, like in a lot of ways, like esoteric creatures, things that aren't right, things that don't fit right or feel right anywhere. You know what I mean? Like things that like are more fantastical. And granted, yes, I'm not saying that dinosaurs aren't fantastical, but they're old hat.
Yeah.
Right. And we found bones for the dinosaurs. I don't know anyone's found Mothman bones or Bigfoot bones or the footprint, Sure, there are museums for Bigfoot and Mothman and statues, but like, we've got carbon dating that says, hey, this dinosaur roamed the area of the United States that is now Montana back like X amount of years ago. So, I mean, that's why I kind of like it. It's a little more fantastical to me.
But interestingly, the only cryptid, or what we would call a cryptid now, because the Monster Manual came out in 1977 before the term even existed, the only cryptid that is in the book is the Yeti. There's no Bigfoot, no nothing. There's no formal entry for a sea serpent of any kind. I guess the Kraken. I'm not sure that the Kraken is in there, but there are giant animals galore. There's a giant squid. And all of those seem more D&D to me than dinosaurs in a weird way. Like, I think that, like, a giant crab or a giant frog plays way differently than a dinosaur for some reason. I think because, to some extent, we are sort of used to the idea of a dinosaur, whereas, like, a giant frog is like, oh, what the heck am I doing with this? Like, you don't know what 100%. To do. But if you use the Harryhausen test and a giant crab is okay, then a dinosaur's got to be okay too. If they're both monsters to Harryhausen, who am I? Who am I to doubt or to argue with Ray Harryhausen, right?
I'd lose that fight.
Yeah.
And also, how cool is that? Like for the longest time, that he truly created the definitive Kraken for like most people's, for like a generation of kids, is like ideas of what a Kraken is.
Yeah. Like it's so much better than just a giant squid.
It really is.
But it's got like the little noodly squid tentacle arms. If you look closely, it's got suction cups on the under parts of its arms. It's great.
It's got such personality to it, like such a vibe. Hell yeah, Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Another thing that is in some monster books that I've read, and I'm talking going back into the Elizabethan era, and this sort of dies out in the 40s, though it does pop up occasionally in later decades of the 20th century where it's sort of like, oh no, this is not okay, but people did say this, so we're going to address it. Often people with who are born differently, often lumped into monster books.
Ugh.
Really the
Yeah.
worst possible thing. Like, it's just like, why? And even the Hamlin Book of Monsters, which is in the 80s, does this. They also have a chapter on gorillas. Both of those chapters are very much like, this is messed up and you shouldn't do that because people are people no matter what shape they take. And gorillas are gorillas and they're almost people and you shouldn't hunt them. But it's actually a pretty cool chapter where it sort of like evaluates these foolish notions
Yeah.
of difference. But the physical manifestation of evil and monstrousness is like a thing that like haunts our conception of monsters, even though I like to think that generally we don't think that, a person who's really tall is a monster or
Oh
really
man, can you
short,
imagine that? How terrible! He could reach the top shelf and fix light bulbs for you. Ah!
Yeah, well, I mean, like these Elizabethan tomes, which are trying, they're flailing. It's early science. They don't know what to make of this stuff, really. So like you can't like, it's not like they're mean spirited necessarily, but they are wrong.
In my head canon, the author is like a short king who like sees his paramour being stolen away by a guy who's like 5'10", who's like, he must be how could I show her he's a monster?
Right.
I'm going to put him in this book. See? Anyone over 5'9" is a beast.
Yeah, so by that standard, the standard of that day, Andre the Giant is quote unquote a monster. And it's just like, but like a sweeter man has never existed, right? Like,
Yeah, unless you were on the wrong side of the ring, sure.
yeah, yeah, but like his humanity has never been in doubt in our lifetimes. Like it's clearly a guy.
Yeah.
What we see and consider monsters is constantly changing. Like the recent kerfluffles over portrayal of orcs and inherently evil demi-human. Like, are they demi-humans? I mean, demi-human isn't a really good term to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, like,
monstrous humanoids has supplanted that. So that is the one that I'm looking for. But yeah, the idea of like the inherently evil monstrous humanoid, like, is that a monster anymore? And like, I can see it both ways. It depends on your game. I think that it's okay to have like an orc. There's a lot of controversy around orcs, but similarly, no one really thinks that a demon, like, we understand that there is the possibility, or we leave room for inherent evil because we still think demons are a thing in Dungeons and Dragons and other games. So like there's still, even though the monstrousness of an orc or a kobold has changed over time, I think kobolds are a great example of that because like, they shifted out of monstrousness far earlier than the orc thing became a topic, and partly because like they are cute and they're really pathetic. Like after a while, people really realize that it's kind of like, unless like you're dealing with a mass of them and they're in their like fortress and they are, they have their traps, and then they become like really dangerous. But like a Dragon Mountain or Tucker's kobolds, but like individually, it's kind of hard to look at a kobold and be like, oh yeah, he's a monster, let me put my sword through it. It's just like this dopey little big-headed dog dragon guy.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes like less about adventuring, more about like stealing some kids' lunch money.
Right. But I think that happened probably with Deacon and what's Meepo, in, I guess that was early third edition. So like at the turn of the century, right? Like, so like that trajectory has been changed, and like the orc thing has become like this flashpoint because of like the stupid online culture wars and wokeness and all that crap.
Right.
So nobody wants to talk about it. Like rational people, they've been just dunking. And I think that if you ask people about kobolds, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I love Meepo. He's great." And it's just, like, I think that like if there's something that unites everybody, it's like, oh yeah, like Deacon and Meepo are cool kobolds, and then you kind of realize that all of this is we're arguing over like, fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not real. But nevertheless, I think that the way things have changed and continue to change, And we'll have a pullback too. We'll as much as I do think that it's good that we see orcs and gnolls. It's weird because I don't see gnolls as being particularly problematic because I feel like they work metaphorically better than kobolds or orcs. They are hyenas, and hyenas are opportunistic killers. So like making hyena people into a raider based culture, like it works better for me. It doesn't bother me the way that orcs do kind of bother me. The kobolds really bother me. That this idea that we're supposed to just like they're just the enemy. But I think that even as you reposition orcs and kobolds out of that, you're going to get to a point where we still need the demon, the demonic, the devil, the true monster to be able to fight.
Well, I mean, if you're going to talk about true monster, you want to talk about the most glaring oversight in every single monster manual and monster book. It's man. Like when you really break it down to the essence of what truly is monstrous, it's man. It's humans. It's like it should be under H. And I know I just raised a lot of blood pressures and ruined a lot of days. You're welcome. Go for a walk. But like, I mean, honestly, like when you really break down most stories, the villain, it's always man, or it's always like, well, this character has been driven to this because humans did X really poorly, and such, rinse, repeat.
So many early fiction. I don't want to call it horror fiction because it's not particularly scary. It's this. It's a lot of. It's a particular sort of hunter story, and it's always it's a monster that's being hunted. But I feel like they are positioned where the writer is just like, we are going to put a monster in front of a hunter, and the hunter is going to struggle against it and eventually kill it. And this is going to play as heroic in my period of time, and my readership is going to read this as heroic. And I routinely read these sorts of stories while working on this monster book and just being like, no, man. Like every time it's like, dude, there's a bunch of stories. There's a story by I think it's Henry S. Whitehead about a ghoul in Providence. And it's sort of like a ghoul. I guess it's after Lovecraft. It airs more on like it's more horrifically cannibalistic, and like dude kills it. It's a female ghoul and it's kids, and like the guy's like, hey, I killed them all, and it's like everybody's like, good job, Bill. And it's I'm reading this like 100 years later, being like, Bill, you're a fucking war criminal. Like, this is terrible. Like, yeah, I get it. They were eating the corpses in the cemetery, but I'm not sure that's a death penalty offense. Like,
yeah, the glaring omission of man.
But it's interesting because it's a story where it is clearly a monster, and it's clearly eating corpses, which I find to be a reprehensible ability.
Of course.
But I'm just but at the same time, like, justice for the ghouls, man. Like this is not the outcome. This is not the ideal outcome, Mr. Author, that you were thinking of. It was like a slam dunk story. Yeah. And it's like goes back to Frankenstein, right? Like, who's the villain?
Right. Yeah. I mean, man. I mean, do you have any final thoughts on monsters?
No, I think that was a fun little romp. Yeah. So my final thought is that you will have 12 weeks of books dedicated to monsters, ghosts, and the unknown coming at you. The first one is the second week of January, and I think it's the second week of every month all the way through. Lots of cool pictures of monsters at the very least.
And if they don't want to sit on Instagram looking at these cool pictures of monsters and posts, where can they find them?
Oh, well, you can't find them on Instagram, really. You only get the covers of the books on the Instagram. If there's interiors, they are on this website at vintagerpg.com. It is closing in on being a 1,000,000-word repository of information on role-playing games and derivative material on the internet, which is crazy.
I love that. It's there, that it exists off social media on its own majestic little island.
Yep.
Well, it's been another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. You know you can find Stu at vintagerpg.com. You can find me across the internet at John McGuire RPG. And if you want to pick up any of my books, hamandeggpublishing.com takes you right to our Etsy. We got some cool new stuff. We got the new Sewer Rats zine up there as well. If you're looking for holiday fun, we've got Kevin Saves Christmas. And then we also have Zombie Brain Eaters Season's Eatings, where you get to have a fun romp in a mall as Mall Santa's being chased by zombies. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. And if you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerpg. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there, including a killer Discord community that we'd love for you to be a part of. At the $10 tier, you can get on Stu's West Marches campaign. At the $5 tier, you can get in on my going now for like several weeks 1-900 fantasy campaign, play by email. I also try to run games there once a month, depending on who shows up, for the $5 tier as well. And for as little as $1 a month, you get early release episodes, which is cool, sometime between Friday and Saturday, depending on when we record them. But remember, kids, not between the 15th and the 12th of January, because we are taking a little holiday for ourselves. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Take care. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerpg.com.